50 years together. Wow. You often hear a lot of tired cliches at times like this. It seems like yesterday comes to mind. Where did the time go is another. My favorite is time flies when you're having fun. For us, I guess I should start by saying that our time together has not always been a bed of roses. Kind of get that out of the way. Fights, yes, we've had a few, 100, 1,000, but somehow we have always managed to make up and come out with a stronger bond each and every time. Let's also not forget all of our days together either. More than 18,000 so far, plus thousands more in store. You are still the best part of my day. Linda, I'm looking forward to number 60, more slowly passing, and maybe even 70, dare I say 80 years together? Thank you for saying yes. All my love, now and forever, your Dan.
Happy anniversary, my Daniel. 50 years ago, I became your wife. Little did I know what the future held for us. I just knew I wanted to make that journey with you. Not only was I crazy in love with you, I was also in awe of your intelligence and wit. And I believed that you would be there for me no matter what happened in the years to come, as I would be there for you. And yes, you have stood by me through the years. You have dried my tears and made me laugh. You have been my strength when I was weak. You told me you can when I thought I couldn't. You will when I thought I wouldn't. I may not have agreed with your methods at time and tell you you are a thorn in my side and other things, but in reality you've been the wind beneath my wings and the ground beneath my feet. I love you because you're my best friend. I love you, Dan. Always have, always will. Happy 50th.
Years ago today, I pledged my loyalty to you as your husband to live together in the holy estate of matrimony. I promise to love you, to comfort you, to honor and to keep you in sickness and in health. But what I have learned is that 50 years is really not enough.
We gather here with our family and friends to celebrate the endurement of those commitments for 50 years and to recommit our vows to each other. Dan, I thank you for the years of togetherness, and I promise to be strong in my love, gentle in my care, and unwavering in my trust.
When I was an infant, I spoke as an infant. I reckoned as an infant. When I became an adult, I abolished the things of the infant. For now we see through a mirror.
How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach. when feeling out of sight for the end of being an ideal grace. I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need, my sun and candle.
Dan and Linda have renewed their solemn vows to each other. They have confirmed their promises by the joining of hands and the exchange of a ring. And therefore, I proclaim that they are still husband and wife. Please kiss the bride.
I think it started the night that she was born. We lived out what they called Egyptian Heights, and my mother was in the verge of giving birth to this young lady, and behind there was a fight going on between two women. Well, everybody was all excited about that, and then they said, all right, you three young ones, you're going to go to your grandmother's house. Now, I'm retired Navy. I spent 20 years, 6 months, and 3 days serving the U.S. Navy. And it was a piece of cake compared to the 3 or 4 days that we had to spend with my grandmother and my Aunt Lily because of her.
I think probably the most successful thing that Dan ever did in his life, and the best decision he ever made, was probably 50 years ago when you chose this woman to be your wife. I believe that was probably your high point. Well, a point. But because, there's an old saying that goes, a man's successes have a lot to do with the kind of woman he chooses to be with. And I believe that Dan, like I said, Dan's greatest successes was 50 years ago choosing Linda to share his life with. One of their successes together is bore out in the two kids that they have, Jason and Kelly. I've enjoyed watching them grow up from little kids to great young adults. Since we've retired, Dan and I have played a round of golf together, weather permitting, every week. It's difficult to say which of us is the better golfer because we have a tendency to shave a few strokes off our scores when we play. I hope that the Lord will do likewise later and shave some of those sins off our scorecards as He's keeping them up there.
I think it's always wonderful that not only have they had a great marriage, but a wonderful friendship, and that's always what marriage should be built on, and I think they exemplify that. You know, so whether it's going downtown to the restaurants that they go to, or book signings, cooking and your gardening, and going to the Dodger games. Go Cubbies! Congratulations on 50 years of marriage. Many more to come. I think their marriage was meant to be.
I've known Dan since high school. My brother and I were in the same grade and graduated in, I'm not going to say when, but and then Dan followed, and years later Linda followed and graduated. I left the area and came back and started working for Olin Corporation, and I worked there for about 9 years. And at that time, Dan came aboard, was working in the same department where I was working. And we knew each other. Everybody was introducing him to me. And I said, oh, goodness gracious, I went to school with you. And as we were working together on some of the projects and stuff, we started talking about family. And he was asking questions about Richard. And I have another sister, Norma Lee. And he said, what about that younger one that was there, your sister? What's her name? I said, Linda. And I said, oh, we kept talking and everything. And I said, who are you dating now? And he said, no one. And I thought, oh my goodness gracious, I got somebody to introduce Linda Ray to. And so after one day we were just visiting, and I said, Linda, I said, you remember Dan Snyder? She says, vaguely. And I said, he works with me. He started working. He just graduated from college and everything. And I said, we got to talk, and he was asking about everybody, and I mentioned your name. He said, is she dating anybody? And I said, not that I know of, but I'll find out. And I said, basically, that's how things started. I went back and talked to Dan later, and I said, hey, she's single. Here's her telephone number. Call her. And lo and behold, they started dating. And then I'm going to tell you something. Today is the legal day that this is official. It's been done officially. The first wedding, nobody was invited. This has been fantastic. It's nice to be here with everybody and everything. But Dan and Linda, congratulations. We love you.
When I'm with you, I'm no longer wandering. When I'm with you, I can finally breathe. When I'm with you, I swear to God, I'm who I wanna be. I'm who I wanna be.
I believe that the Lord God puts us on this earth to touch each other and to help each other get to heaven. In this regard, we all have a responsibility to each other. Husbands are to help their wives get to heaven. Wives are to help their husbands get to heaven. Fathers are to help their sons and daughters get to heaven. Mothers are to help their daughters and sons get to heaven. We are all to help each other get to heaven. I also believe the Lord intended that we experience a small fragment of what it is like to be in heaven with Him while we are still on this earth.